All right, so what's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85, here with Echo and tonight's guest, Terry Jarrell. Is that how you say your last name?
Terry or Jarrel is fine.
Gerald, my bad. All right, I know
It
people pronounce it. All right, how are you tonight?
Not bad. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yep, thanks for joining us. So, people who don't know, you wrote and directed Harlow's Haunt, which I've been sharing all day the last couple days, and hopefully people have been checking it out on Tubi. So
Nice.
I know that's one of the streaming services it's on. Is it on Vudu also and Amazon, I believe?
Yeah, it's all off the place. It's on Tubi, and yeah, I'm getting old, and I can't remember all this stuff now. There's Tubi, Amazon, Zumo, Vudu, Plex,
Yeah.
Flings, and they've got a pretty cool sub category called cult flicks. Sorry. And but yeah, it's getting a lot of attention. It's in a bunch of countries, U.S., Canada, Mexico, Europe. It's bizarre to kind of see the reach that it's getting, and so it's a lot of fun to be talking to people and getting some feedback and all that stuff. There's people that are watching it that never would have dreamed that you're watching, our movie all around the world now. So,
yeah, I mean, there's so many streaming services out there today. It's hard to keep track of. I think it's about a few thousand of them or so, it seems like, with a new one or two every day. So it kind of, do you think that helps the movies too now? With all these streaming services, helps the movies to get, out there more for the audiences and stuff to see, especially with what we're seeing what's happening with physical media.
Right. It does. It's, and I'm kind of all the way or all over the place with that. I mean, if you're getting an audience and you've got, your different preference, I guess, between physical and streaming or whatever, because they all kind of have their own strengths and weaknesses. So, I mean, like for me, and we were talking, Steve, we were talking a little earlier. I come back from tech. And so for me, it's like easy to put everything on a hard drive, and I can take it anywhere, and I can have, 200, 2,000 movies or something right there. That works for me, but not for somebody that is more of a collector, and you've got the physical. So you've got a different thing there. And I think we're seeing a lot of options all over the place. And I love to see that physical is still there, and and it's not going anywhere. And it's got a lot of benefits. So, it's just different stuff. It's like it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can just be, do both. I mean, we've got hard drive, the Blu-rays. They're great. And so, you just have fun and watch stuff. So.
Yeah.
I think what's great about with like your movie is it's all on Tubi, but also like I didn't know about it until like Stephen told me. So word of mouth is also a great way to get movies out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm a wrestling fan, and that's how we used to do it with a lot of these different wrestlers, was word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's a great promotional thing for for people. Oh, I saw this movie. You won't believe what happened in it. You gotta check it out.
It is, and you probably see my dog roaming around. So,
so it's pet friendly. That's all right.
She is. Yeah, this is if you see her, she's a 6 or a 7 month shepherd. So she's
we can see her there.
Yeah, she'll be up and down, up and down. But yeah, it between again, kind of talking about the tech, we've got such cool things to use now, like with the socials. I mean, we can get our word out to different audiences or whatever. I really like to talk to just anybody about our movie or filmmaking or any of that stuff, and we can have these conversations that we would have never been able to do before. And so, having all this stuff is so good to reach to our audience and our friends and people, you say fans and all that. We can be connected like right tonight in ways that we would have never been able to do before. So it's amazing, and what you guys are doing it's such a strong facet to this whole communication that is imagining thing for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, before the internet, it was just, okay, let's get the newest copy of Rue Morgue, Fangoria, whatever magazine. That's how you would hear. But yeah, with the internet, you got like this and different things online that can help. Especially when stores aren't always. I can't go to Walmart and find my latest copy of Fangoria or Rue Morgue.
Yep.
Unfortunately, would be nice to say.
Yeah. So, I was going to ask you, when you were growing up, I assume you were always into horror, and which director or writer influenced you?
Me, yeah, I was that creepy kid.
We are.
Yeah, I was a really bad creepy kid. I grew up. I'll condense it or try to it. My dad and my uncle, as a I guess you'd say a side gig now, they would work in the theaters. And hey there. And so they had regular jobs, but on the weekends they would run. I mean, like now it's all digital, but they ran the movies at the theaters. So I was like, 6, 7, whatever. And Joe, I would go just hang around these theaters as a kid, just kind of learning and watching. And I would be there like all day. I'd see there would be like 2 movies, back and forth all day. And so I was, learning not just about movies, but about the audience and kind of the whole thing going on. And so I learned, and back then we were looking, again, I'm really old. So you get this, deal. So I kind of came up with the Hammer films. I'm just a big Hammer freak and Hitchcock. And that's, and if I would say Hitch was my main, and still is my, between him and David Lynch, that's my thing. And so it just really settled into me. And like I can, look at Hammer stuff all day. I mean, it just got that vibe. It's just, it's the theater of it, of the whole thing. And it's something that, I try to find in other movies now. And I bring a lot of this into my own writing. So, so those were the things that kind of really influenced me. But I loved, going into the 80s and the 90s and the different kind of, do you want to say the word trends, but maybe the interests of horror. But the thing that it comes back to, I think, going right down to today, it's got the best fans in the world are horror fans. Whatever, if you go to a con, and you guys can say the same thing, you got somebody, cosplaying, from a Universal monster up through something now. So you've got that passion. And so having all that based on, it doesn't matter, what type of horror, if you like, do you like slasher? Do you like, thriller or whatever? If you're a horror fan, it's there. And that's such an amazing thing for the whole thing. So you tell me to shut up now. I'll go all day.
It's okay.
No,
Hammer is, I got introduced to Hammer when I was a kid. And I just had to see one Hammer film. I can't remember what it was, probably one of the Dracula ones. And the next thing you know, I just kind of I got pulled down that rabbit hole because like, oh, I want to see more. And
Yeah.
the werewolf ones, the Frankenstein, the Mummy. It's just like, ooh, I want to see more and more.
More.
Love Hammer is just. I haven't watched. Like, I think they came back a few years ago, whatever, but I haven't seen any of the newer stuff.
Yeah, I think it's kind of taken a turn. I think we're going to see a new flavor. I don't know. I'm just kind of seeing a few things here and there. So new stuff. I'm guessing they're going to bring some of classic stuff updated. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see where they go with it. But yeah, with that kind of pedigree, I think it's got a lot of cool stuff come with it. So looking forward to it. But yeah, I love, I jump and walk all the time. I mean, almost I won't say nightly, but a couple nights I will throw on some, the original like Crypt or something, and I've seen it 5,000 times, but we're going to watch 15 minutes of this episode or something. So it's like I don't know, an old friend or something. It's those stories are just amazing.
You said Alfred Hitchcock was one of them. What's your favorite Hitchcock movie?
Oh, Psycho. That's yeah. I mean, I'd watch it.
I got blown away when I was like reading about something. Talking about the toilet flushing or whatever. First movie where you saw the toilet flush or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? They had something against toilets flushing in movies?
Yeah, there's a lot of weird. I can't think of anything right off, but yeah, there's some weird stuff that we take for granted now. But it's like, yeah, those little things that were, I guess, back then were really kind of pushy socially, and it's like,
yeah,
you can't have this.
Yeah, they had the Hays Code or whatever. Couldn't show a belly button. I was like,
yeah,
it's okay. But it was getting me. It's like they couldn't show a lip-on-lip kiss. And I swear, if you watch some of the movies when they do like the cheek kiss, watch the woman's reaction like she's just like an ecstasy. I'm like, okay, that's overdoing selling a kiss.
Oh, right there. That's the sweet spot, I guess, apparently.
Yeah, according to those old movies, yeah.
That's funny.
My mom. Hey, Mom. She tracks me down everywhere. So.
My mom's in here too, so it's like, gosh darn it, we got to watch what we say. Our moms are here.
Oh, damn it!
But movie theaters, growing up around movie theaters to me had a magic. Still do. When you walk in, movie theaters, you hear the popcorn, you smell it, you're just like, okay, I'm home. I love being in them.
This theater in particular that I always kind of go back to. It's no longer, I guess, an operation. I'm from Charleston, West Virginia, and it had been one of several really old school theaters. The old with the velvet curtains and all that stuff. I mean, it's like really old, classy. The balcony and all that stuff. And so that's what I grew up at. And this one was called the Capitol, and wasn't really huge. Like some were really giant. This wasn't necessarily so big, but it had the grand thing, and it had like the big plush carpeted, and and when you walk, you have the concession, and what you just said, the popcorn. I mean, that just set the tone of everything. And then you would walk through the curtains down the rows, and like these things that you don't have now. I mean, we've got great theaters and great sound and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
you'll never replace this. I mean, you'll just and this place had 2 stairs. You would have to go up to the balcony, of course, and it was usually not full, so it would have a rope over, so you couldn't go up there. Of course, I would jump under and whatever and sit up there, and and that's magic that you're not going to find in theaters now. I mean, again, you're going to have better sound or better everything, blah blah blah, but it doesn't have that. I mean, when you walk in off the street, it might be cold, it might be in the winter, and you walk in, you've got that whole visceral experience, and then you walk in and sit down to Hammer double. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey,
we have an old theater in our town, but it's closed. It hasn't been open in years. The marquee, remember those old nice marquees out there?
yeah,
It collapsed one day about a few years ago.
Oh, man.
Because they said the library was across the street, they just heard this bang, and they go, there was all this bird poop and stuff in there. It just boom. I was like, whoa.
those were huge.
They also used to have those old, like when the ticket thing was right like on the outside too.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed some of the old ones.
Yeah.
2 doors.
There was another one in town. It was called the Cures, and it was a little bigger, but it had the booth where the ticket guy or girl, woman, or person, whoever would be out there selling the tickets, and so they were like disconnected from the main thing. So it was like, it was kind of it was a cool thing. So we've got a great theater here in Tampa Theater. If anybody's around there, it's an old a theater like that, but it's amazing. Joe, John, I don't think is going to make it tonight. He had stuff, so yeah, he's not going to be able to make it. But he might surprise us. But
now with it, I noticed the advertising that new, at least here, that new traveling sound system they have. They got to always tell people about it. Well, when you feel the plane fly over, it's going to just travel.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It's pretty cool what they got now.
It's amazing.
So for Harlow's Haunt, before you wrote that, have you ever had any experiences yourself with any ghost or supernatural or anything along those lines in your life?
Other than just my life being crazy and terrifying? That's a good question. And a lot of people ask me. I'm kind of on the fence. I am half skeptic and half like, yeah, some weird stuff has happened. There's no way I can explain. So I'm kind of in the here and there, kind of, again, it's a wishy-washy answer. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I had this conversation with somebody not too long ago about writing. And I've been a writer for quite a while, editorially and fiction, but I was kind of like, iffy about how you feel like if everybody's watching you dance. That's how I was about my writing. It's like, yeah, I've got all this stuff, but you're not going to see it. Nobody's ever going to see anything in my writing. The other stuff has been, in magazines and stuff. But, and then finally, I kind of got over that and it's like, okay, here's what it is. But it makes you wonder, because I come up with storylines. It could be like just a sentence. It can be steal this with from David Lynch. It's kind of like fishing, and you get a nibble, but you don't know where it's going to come from. And I'll get that with writing all the time. And it's like, okay, why did I think about this? And some writing, especially horror stuff, it makes you wonder, like, what put this in your mind? I mean, is this like something? And you have to be honest yourself. It's like, okay, I'm just kind of riffing on something that I've seen before, or you're trying to reinvent the wheel or stuff like that. But there's stuff that or at least for me, I will write stuff and I won't say it's like going out of trance or anything, but you don't even think about it. And you look down, or I will, and I'll have a paragraph or 2 or 3 pages, and it's like, okay, who wrote this? I mean, because it's really coming from some weird experience or where. So that's almost like I kind of think of that like if you do have an experience that transcends your self or your psyche. It can come through from writing or whatever. So because when I write, especially like dialogue, I can hear, and this is so crazy, and everybody's going to probably banging on my doors, like, okay, come out, get him out here. But it's like when I write dialogue, I can almost see, or not see, but hear the people in the room, and it's like, and everything kind of merges together. It's like I feel like I'm just sitting here with a notebook, just kind of saying, okay, tick, 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 writing this stuff down, and then it just kind of clicks at that point, and you have this world. It's kind of what you call it, world building in writing too. So, yeah, maybe, you create your own ghosts, your own storylines, things like that. So, it's a hard, I guess in summary, it's kind of a hard answer for me because, a lot comes from you manufacture in your own mind or not. Where it comes from somewhere, I don't know.
Well, someone was asking, what was the first screenplay you wrote? If it wasn't Hollow's Haunt.
Harlow's was actually a combination of stuff, Joe. I've written a lot of stuff, a lot of words, a lot of short stories. That they can only go so far, or they will have a good DNA of the story, but it's like, you can't, or to me anyway, you can't just, if you hit the wall, you just have to be honest to yourself and say, okay, that's all there is for this, but you still keep all that. And so Harlow's, for example, was a genesis of a bunch of different things. I mean, some of the characters were just created and parts of another story that had nothing to do with it. But it's like, no, that person would be in this world. Their experience would fit the story of what's going on. It would serve the story, and the story just kind of starts gelling like that. Harlow's was the first one I really, as I've worked on a bunch of projects and stuff, and shorter projects. I've done a lot of commercial stuff and all that. That really doesn't have a lot of story to it. But Harlow's, I really kind of got, it started off as a short, and then it got bigger, and it turned into like this bigger story and these bigger elements and things like that. And so I really got so invested into it. It was like the full, it was like, this is the only thing I've done. Well, now it's been over 2 years, and it's this whole galaxy of stuff that's going on. So so if that makes any sense, it's the first one I've wrote to this depth. There is other stuff I'm working on, going in another direction. Probably a lot more horrific. And I don't want to give much away, but I think it's going to be quite I know you've probably heard this a million times, but it's something you've probably not seen before in the way. And it's very a lot going to have of the DNA that I'm from. Again, like the thriller, the depth. It's got to have a lot of story for me. I don't want to explain too much in the story. I want the audience to come away with what's going on. But it's not. I don't like to do a lot of things that are kind of, for no reason. There's got to be a reason for that action, or that character, or that arc. It has to have a connection somewhere, or at least to me. And so I'll be writing a lot more stuff in that. There's a lot in Harlow's that I don't know if a lot of people have caught the first times. I've had some reviewers um, ping me. It's like, yeah, well, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. It's like, do me a favor, go back and watch it again, or watch this section or something, and then just ping me back. Just tell me what you think. And every time, without fail, we've had a conversation like, oh my God. Oh, it's like, yeah, it's like you really can't. I don't want to say, you can't get up from your seat, you can, but there's stuff. Every segment has something building on to something else. And it's one of those things that once you stick with it and even watch a time or two, then it really kinds of, it cements together, and you're like, oh, I see what that means. I know what that person, or blah, 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 how everything means with something. So.
Yeah, a lot of movies I noticed are like that. You have to go back and watch it a second or third time to catch things, because otherwise, that first view, you're gonna miss a lot of stuff and all. So yeah, sometimes go watch back it a second or third times. Watch what you're gonna catch.
Yeah,
that you missed the first time.
Yeah, even like Psycho, I've seen it 100 trillion times, and there's still stuff. I'm at that point now, being psychotic. No pun there.
No pun intended. Right?
I'm looking for stuff that I've missed over so many times, and yeah, and there's stuff there. I mean, you can see things through different perspectives all the time.
Plus, there's different cuts of that movie too. When you have different cuts, then you're like, that even throws you more off, and you go back to watch, in a second or third time, like, wait a minute, this isn't how I remembered. Oh, you're watching the director's cut of something.
The TV version, the director's cut, the theatrical, like every single, the special edition, whatever.
And then also a lot of movies too, like they love the Easter eggs, the references to other stuff. Like one of the ones that I've seen, even in video games, this particular one, there's a certain rug that pops up from time to time. And you're like, rug? A trike?
Yep.
Red rum. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
But okay, I was looking back on IMDb. Well, oh god, it said that let me find that was inspired by different things in Florida.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good point. I don't know if I always brought this up.
Because it said, I would say, Hollow's Heart is being shot. No. The story is loosely based on actual tales and folklore. Goddamn ad. From Untamed backwards. Right when you're reading something, an ad pops over it. Yeah, saying like an Untamed backwards of the heart of Florida, dating back decades and even centuries. Well, that's something when you got something like that to tap into. Wow, what you can come up with.
Yeah. To explain a little bit about that. I live and Steve and I were talking earlier, from Orlando. I live near Orlando, around Disney. You would think, Disney, all the hubbub and everything going on, the entertainment, you got all that stuff right here. I mean, you got everything right here. Yeah, well, you could go off the interstate 2-3 miles, and it's the swamps. There ain't nothing. I mean, it's out when it's dark. It's dark, and there's a lot of creepy stuff there. So when I moved here, I was on the coast in Florida. I moved into this area. I learned more about the stuff around here, and there's a lot of these little towns, for example, that in the if we want to call it the dark thing of Florida, it's like just off the path beaten path.
Yeah, beaten path. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's nothing going on out there really in the some of these small towns and stuff like that. I mean, they get shut down at 9 or 10.
Like Casadega is a
Yeah,
town.
you got really creepy stuff, or at least maybe not, but it's just your perception is. But a lot of this stuff, as I exploring it, where a lot of these old places came from, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. There's a lot of cults, and there was stuff from the islands, like voodoo and stuff, moving around, from the islands into Florida, this area up into New York, New Orleans area, with the all that stuff up there. I mean, all this kind of weird stuff was happening, and there's really dealing with it. I mean, it's just happening, and there's no real do you want to say like law or whatever. It was kind of like a lawless thing, and so that's where Harlow's kind of comes from. I mean, he's like this guy that just can do whatever he wants. He's hiding out basically out in the swamps, and you've got some characters coming through there, and so that's kind of what I based Harlow's character on. But after, again, based on a lot of research of people that came from the north that wanted to set up their own church or whatever, because they were squabbling with wherever they're from. Well, I'm going to go down here and set up my own whatever, and they could do that. And again, there is like, just do whatever you want. All right, so that's a big chunk of what brought Harlow into this area. We might at some point dive deeper into the story, so I'll kind of make that maybe down the road. But there's a lot more going on to the story, and then it's a creepy story because there's a lot of real basis from the area. But we shot the whole movie right here in between Orlando and Tampa. Two main locations. One was an attraction here called Old Town. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm sure you've been there.
That was great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were just great. I mean, because in the movie you have two timelines, from the 90s or 20s now to current. So you've got cast for each timeline, and then where Harlow time and location came from it's actually an attraction here called Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. If anybody likes an amazing haunt attraction, they're between Orlando and Tampa, right, called Plant City. Amazing event. Go for, they're on Halloween, they do Christmas, and Valentine's Day. So I'm sure they're getting ready for the season now. Amazing people. They were so good to offer us to come in. Did everything to help the movie, and just amazing. And the sets and everything were wonderful. It would have been amazing to have all the resources that we needed to shoot the movie right there. They were fantastic to help us in any way. So, but yeah, Yeah, and they also are from the literal kind of creepy area. So like when we be out shooting, it's night. I mean, some shoots we would start shooting at 8, 9, starting to get dark, and we would wrap till 2, 3, 4 in the middle morning, and that gives you a really different um, feel when you're on set, when you've been out there for 6, 8, 10 hours, whatever. It's hot. We were shooting in the middle of the summer, so you had this really weird kind of vibe, and that I think translates in the movie, because the people, especially some of the shots with John as Harlow, um, really let him tap into that performance. So yeah, it was cool.
I got a question. Do you have any favorite screening or convention appearances, stories, any great celeb encounters?
Nope, don't know any of them. No. Well, obviously, all the TCM people are just fantastic. They're what I consider good friends. John Dugan, Harlow, one of my dearest friends. Eddie, Neil, Alan, Dagener from TCM. I mean, just great people. Man, as far as cons, again, where do I start? Blair Witch people, a lot of friends involved with that. Again, they've got a big year going too, hitting on a lot of cons with that. So and we're talking about some of the cons here in the Orlando area. We're so lucky. We're kind of spoiled because we've got Spooky, we've got MegaCon, we've got Spookapalooza.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of good stuff right here, so we're kind of spoiled. But I've got friends up in New Jersey that have their stuff going on up there.
The Monster Mania. Yeah, I haven't been to those yet. I'd like to, but
yeah, I have up there, and we've got good friends out in Texas, and I guess Vegas, and so there's a lot of stuff going on, and I love to see what other friends and counterparts are doing out there, because there's again we all love this stuff up, so we've got good stuff.
Yeah, I get so jealous of people when they talk about these different conventions. I'm in Central Washington. About the biggest we get here is the Bigfoot convention. All that's for Western Washington, Seattle. So I'm like, why can't we? Everyone's all talking about all these conventions, like, why can't we have that here? Nothing against Bigfoot and all, but I would love to have them here because it'd be really nice.
Well, you're lucky you get Bigfoot to attend your convention. You'll actually get a real picture with them, not that.
Here's a true law in the state of Washington, one of the counties or cities. It is illegal to hunt or kill a Bigfoot. This started out as a prank law back in the 50s or 60s, but apparently it became such an issue with people showing up. So I can imagine when you got a bunch of drunks with their guns running around the woods, I gotta get that Bigfoot. They're like, this is no longer a joke. It's a legit law now.
That is interesting.
I get into the strange laws, and they have one they used to have one, if your woman's driving, you have to walk 10 feet in front of the car. And I'm like, that's bad, especially if she's mad at you.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Were there any when you were filming the movie, was there anything creepy that happened during filming that wasn't part of it?
All the time. I don't want to give too much away. If you see the end of the movie, there is kind of a part of that. That
I
was going to ask if that was true or not, or just part of the movie, or if it was
that threw me off to go from screaming to go. Don't want to give it anyway. To go from that screaming to what the other thing. I'm like, what? What's going on here?
That's a pretty big gear shift there. Yeah, that was It was, yes, and I would say real and not. It was a little bit of both. There was some stuff going on. There was stuff that you can't kind of quantify sometimes. Like where we were shooting, for example. Um, hey there. Um, there's one set we were shooting at that is a whole walkthrough. It's like a big mansion, and yeah, it's creepy. It's scary, but it should be. I mean, it's a haunt, right?
Yeah.
But we were out there, and most of the people had left. There's maybe 4 or 5 of us left. I was grabbing the last gear, and this was, again, it's probably about 3 in the morning, and I was deep into the maze. And well, if you saw the movie where the people, the couples are going through the maze before anything happened to them, they go through this big hallway. Well, that's where I was. And what was really weird is all the lights went out, which was like, okay, because somebody, I guess, thought I was not back there. So they killed the lights, but none of my lights would work. Now, that was kind of weird because I had 2 LEDs, and it was like, that was just odd. So I had to find my way through this whole maze carrying like 2 bags of camera gear and stuff. And normally I don't like get my own mind or anything, but I was for that one. So there was some creepy stuff going on, but a couple of the actors, one in particular, she would get into character, and it was I was kind of going with that. It was like, yeah, because it's to put your mind in that place to do the screams or some of the stuff like that, to really be able to sell it or kind of live it for that moment. Being in those areas help, I think, to put you in that stuff. Even to see the movie, you still don't feel it the same way. Even if we were on set. I mean, we had everything going on. We got people behind the camera, blah blah blah, and it's still creepy when you see that girl right in the camera and putting all the fear. And it was real for her. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, do it again, because we talk a lot about that, because she's her name's Jarrel, and she's an actress at Universal, and she's a trained vocalist, and she's just really got her her craft down. And we were talking about it. It's like, this scream isn't something you can do 3, 4, or 5 times, because if you do, you're not going to save anything, or it's not going to have the impact. Yeah. So she had two screams. It was like, okay, well, we got to get it, and we only needed one. And so, because she didn't want to blow her voice out and all that. But when we had that first take, and the one you see in the movie, well, we had to work through the edit so we didn't blow the audio out, because it was so piercing. And on my editing station, I was cranking it up. It's like, and I knew, it's like, man, the cops are going to show up. That
someone's getting murdered.
This is the most blood curdling scream. So yeah, that to see her pull that through the performance on set, that was amazing.
It's a hell of a good scream. I feel for these actresses who have to do all these screams repeatedly. When they got to go home at the end of the day, how are you, honey?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're up there with the Dragon Ball Z actors who got to yell a lot. You just know at the end of the day, they're just like, I can't. Kind of, I was having flashbacks with that scream. I don't know if you've ever seen Tombs of the Blind Dead.
No.
That's another one that ends with this woman at the end. She's supposed to have these blind Templars. So at the end of the movie, you get kind of like that, where she's been so terrified her hair's turned white, and you get that camera zooming on her right when she lets out that blood curdling scream. Only that wasn't as good as the one in yours. That was more blood curdling than what was in Tombs of the Blind Dead.
Wow. Well, that's a compliment. Shane.
It just it catches you, and that's actually that scream though was probably done post dub because it's a Spanish movie.
Yeah,
so you probably have to watch the original one. But
it was a dub scream. It wasn't even her scream.
Yeah, this is a real deal. Right.
Oh yeah.
You know, mic'd right in front of the camera, and it was like, and you know the thing I love about it. After she screams and we cut to black, we've got a couple seconds. You can just hear her voice. She's kind of almost has like a whimper. I mean, she's like so defeated. It's like just it kind of goes like, it's like she killed that, and I love that last enunciation of that thing. I mean, the scream and the face, and then it went black. Then you have there's a beat of like her voice just she's defeated. She just is done.
Yeah,
and that was such a cool way to end that. Then we've got that crazy ending.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Plus the close up, those were great too. You know, you can't just half of it just a close up, and they gotta have the look too on the face.
Yeah,
that helps too to sell the scream.
Yeah.
So there, I forget. Did you say that there are plans for a sequel for that, or
we're working on it? To be honest, been kind of honestly, there's such a big story. The whole Harlow thing has been this big, I don't know, this big linear story. And so with what we have now, I've kind of looked at it and it's like, okay, I need to clip a piece of this movie out and release this, because there's a lot of stuff that happened before Harlow, and there's stuff that happens, in different parts of the whole thing. It's like this would be like a 20-hour movie. So I don't know where we're going with it, honestly, because there's a lot of story here. I've been working with my kind of friend, I don't know, a social associate producer, Amy Rolfson. She was also in the movie. She was Beth, and I kind of dragged her into the story, and so she's kind of worked with me along that. So I don't know what we've got to roll out yet, but yeah, we love the whole Harlow thing, and the people love Harlow and John. Well, John, I mean, it was like, God, I was so scared to ask him to be in the movie. And when I wrote Harlow, I had this little idea of Harlow, and I've been working with, and so I knew it was going to be the character. It was like somehow just got to kidnapped him. So finally, I had everything ready, and so I'm kind of going around, blah blah blah, and I texted him, and I'm like, I'm just, it's like a first date. It's like I was afraid. And so finally, I said, hey, if you're not busy, do you have a minute? I'd like to jump on the phone. I got just something crazy to tell you. But he's the type like, spit it out. What is it? And he was stoked about it. He was like, yeah. He said, let's do it. When do you want to do it? And I was like, first of all, I wasn't ready for this. I thought you were going to say, screw this, get out of there. But he just put the life in that whole character. So it's amazing. But yeah, so I'm sure at some point we'll have more Harlow stuff. If everything goes good and all that. Again, I've got a couple other projects working on. The other one is kind of getting a lot of attention. My attention right now. So we've got a few things going. So we've got a lot of good support. We've got great people on our socials. We've got a good Facebook group, and it's growing every day. We've got new people there, more channels. We're getting just a lot of support, and we I'll speak to from everybody. We all are humbled by all the support, and just here we're having a crazy story, and then it turned into a little movie, and it turned into a bigger movie, and it's kind of growing in these directions. So we're super thankful for it. So we're looking forward to having more of all kinds of stuff.
More in the Harlow universe. It would be interesting to see more about him, and then more in the present time and all around. Yeah,
he is such a character, and some of the stuff I've got. Shut up.
We got the exclusive here on the House of Horrors. Go ahead. No,
I think I was I was so used to him as Grandpa Sawyer, which he didn't really have to say or do anything. So I was like, whoa, he actually can act. Because I was so used to just, I know he can act, of course, but just so used to him just kind of like, sitting there.
I can't tell you enough about Joe, my friend Joe from the Indie Escape Network. It was there and on the set, and one day, and it was just, everybody did such a great job, but when John was on set, there was this thing. It was like this magic from him. And when he was just ready. When we were ready to shoot, he would had his stuff together, and like for my as a writer and a director, I want things to be really easy, and forget me, really not too scripted, but it's got to follow, if that makes any sense. I want to be very natural. And we would spend time, quite a bit of time, to take the script or what I had written. And I probably the craziest director in the world. Is like, okay, take all this, don't do any of it. Don't say it. Say it in a different way. How would you say this? I know how Harlow would say this. How would you say what Harlow is saying, or approach, or think about it, or blah blah blah? How would you put on these clothes that I've written for Harlow? How would you take that shirt and put it on? And then we kind of made this merged thing. And when we would call for the camera, it was what you see was just magic to see. That one story about, and not give too much of the movie away, but kind of early on, we have Harlow and Eudora sitting at the table, and it's kind of a long scene, and it takes people a lot of time to sit through that scene. It's a very important scene that's going on. It's telling a lot about Harlow, where he came from, where he's coming, but he's not saying a word. She's doing all the talking. But the gist of the story is we're learning about Harlow. Something happened to her, obviously, but we're looking at his face. We're looking at his mannerisms. We're kind of, we need to go back, and this is what we were saying before earlier. Go back and watch the scene. You're just looking at him, but taking a story, but applying it to him. And when you see John do that stuff, and the oh, where is it? It's around here somewhere. Oh, it's up here. It's up on the shelf. I'm lazy to get it. The big jug with the well, it had tea in it, but it looks like booze in it.
Right.
He had that, and he had that look. It was like amazing. I mean, when we were sitting it was about midnight. We were shooting that. It was only a few of us still there. We were pulling those shots late. He was so creepy to be there in the dark. It was amazing. Again, it's one of those things that it's like, I wish you can only get so much on camera, but John brought so much through the camera in those shots. And but then if we take that same scene and we look at or her and what's going on, he also drew a lot from that character in his performance. But that shot turned out to be almost a 7-minute shot, and that was a long, crazily long shot. And they did such an amazing job for not having to drop the balls for that whole thing. But when I called cut, Amy was running the slate. It was just total silence. I didn't know what to say. I looked over at Amy. She had tears coming down her eyes. And it was like, okay, I think we're on to something. And John was just kind of just wiped out. And Crystal, the character or actress, it was like a very emotional thing to be there. And again, I look back at the movie, and it's like, again, we only do two takes on that scene because it was a long dialogue and a lot of stuff there. But so if you go back and see it, you'll see, the camera doesn't blink much, but enough to keep you moving. But the story drives between those two. So
nice. Let's see.
So hot in the cabin on set, zero ventilation. Ooh, youch.
No, there was a.
How does this reading this come?
It was just a little hole. That's it.
Yeah, it was like big.
That's all you get. That's what we're all here for.
Well,
any? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, it had to be, tough. I remember John we were talking about it, and one of the best attaboys that anybody ever could have given me was in TCM. He and we were done. I think we were back to his place. It's probably about 6 a.m. when we were just kind of getting settled down, and he said something about, I can't exactly what he said, but it was like, damn it, he said, I didn't think anybody until you came along could have put me in so much misery than like Toby Hooper, from TCM.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll take that. That's a compliment. He said, "Well, yeah, you can say that." He said, I didn't think I, be put through this hell before." I said, "Yay! All right."
Yeah, I mean, come on. 19, they started that movie, 73, 74,
Yeah,
Texas,
74.
with all that makeup on, that mask and stuff on. Oh, that had to be hell.
Oh man, yeah, and it was. I've heard some things and about a lot from other people that were in the movie and on set, and yeah, man, that had to be unbelievable. I went out to Texas 2 years ago. Well, no, a year and a half ago. Well, almost 2 years for Alan, his birthday, and he did a benefit thing there at the TCM house. And it was in July, I think, right after the 4th. And I'd never been to Texas before, and I'm from Florida, right? I mean, how hot can it be? It's a lot hotter than Texas. It makes Florida look like Arctic. It's like, oh my gosh, like 180 degrees. It was amazingly hot. So it was a great fun time, though. But man, oh my god.
Yeah, the heat in Texas is, yeah, definitely. Any of the characters? Oh, hold on. How was I gonna word my question? I had it in my head and I lost it after Texas. The heat got to my brain. Just imagining how hot it was fried my brain remembering. Oh, okay. Have you based any of your characters on people that you have met throughout your life, or do any of them relate to you at all?
Oh yeah, all of them. I'd say almost every one of them. I can point of some of these people. All right, I just call it the new cast, the present day cast. We've got basically 5 people, friends that had been together since they were kids, and something happened. So after a couple of years later, they're trying to reconnect. So you've got 3 girls, 2 guys, right? So they were all based in some part of people that I know, and probably everybody can relate to these people. One, Amber, is the one girl that doesn't have a partner. She's the well, if you say the third wheel, she's actually the fifth wheel.
Fifth wheel, but yeah,
whatever. But she's that girl that constantly has her phone constantly.
Oh God!
Or somebody's out. Somebody says, "Well, where are we gonna eat?" Oh, okay. Tick 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 tick. So if you see that in the movie, she's the one, and she drives everybody crazy. It's like, oh, look, it says to do this. Oh, tick 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 tick, and that's that one. But she's
I know a lot of people like that. Like my cousin I was with today is one of those where you turn around, what do you want for lunch? It's all quiet. Just turn around.
Oh. Constantly. And then you've got like the couple, like Ben and Beth. They're the ones, they've been boyfriend girlfriend since they were 10, and they're gonna be together forever and blah. They can read their each other's minds, stuff like that. So yeah, so all these characters, they came through me from people I know or have known, or at least in parts, bits of stuff. Even like Harlow and just really everybody just had a little bit of somebody else in the whole thing. And but those 5 really, that was fun to write that dialogue and stuff, and to see where the direction went in things. Like if you think of those 3, there's a scene where Ben, Beth, and Amber are sitting in the car. chatting about some stuff, and you can, or at least the aim was from directing and the writing. I wanted people to feel like, yeah, I'm sitting with in a car with some of my friends. I could know. I feel like I'm sitting in the car with blah blah blah, or I've had to put deal with this guy or this girl or whatever. It kind of I wanted to put you in the seat next to the person that you're with, or like in the bar scenes and stuff like that. Do you feel like you're, chatting to these people or whatever, stuff like that? So I want to make it very kind of casual, not too, just too. Just make it really kind of realistic, I guess. It's kind of like what my friends are. So kind of
that's something the guy that made Birdemic should have done, because he didn't allow them really to kind of be realistic. He was all like, you gotta walk like it's written, you gotta talk like it's written. So then you get these scenes that are really like, oh, the character's supposed to be in love, and it's like, it's awkward. Where if you kind of make them like act like real people, maybe give them a little license to kind of improv a little bit to kind of make it seem more realistic, works better than just something that's going to come. A scene that's going to come completely awkward if you don't let them do that.
I think, at least, again, I say this all the time because there's no wrong way about doing any of this stuff, but for me it's like I love for things to be very natural, and whether that's like what they're wearing, what they're the makeup. I didn't really want everything to feel too polished. I love that reality is not polished. And I like, there's a lot of things in there that we had better takes, cleaner audio, or this or that. It's like, no, I want to take this take because it's got a little pause, or it's got something's a little askew. So I would use that one rather than like, okay, let's take the best take, and then we'll take the next best take and take the best, or best, and line up all your best. It's like, no, find the ones that work. I mean, because in reality, you're going to sound wacky. I mean, you're going to, like, right now we're just kind of chatting and all. I'm taking a drink of tea and all this weird stuff, and you're gonna have these little pauses and things like that. And when I look at about any movie, aside from the classics and things like that, but especially now, you've got so much found footage and all that.
Oh yeah.
I love it, and all that, but it's kind of like you kind of have that foot in reality. I think it makes it a little more unsettling, or a little more unsettling than having like somebody acting like it's reality. It's like, yeah, but kind of, does that make any sense? I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, if they're gonna act like a real person, not a scripted character.
Yeah.
You get to see how the real person's gonna react to, say, something what would be a situation.
Just more natural.
How would, if you saw someone get killed in front of you, what would a real person, how would they react versus a scripted character react?
Yeah. Well, and I'll carry that to like the tech side. Cameras. I mean, I'm a camera guy. I love cameras. I will not use a gimbal. People will like, oh my God, yeah, I've got them, but no. I'll qualify that for a certain look, or for a certain shot or something. Yeah. But all day I will take a small camera, and I will turn down the iOS or something for a lot of instances to make it feel real. And now we've got, like with iPhones and things, stabilization is so good, it looks too good. It's like, okay, I have to dial this down. I need to turn the exposure down. You know, I really work with it to make it feel wonky. And I did a lot of that in Harlow's. I did a ton of editing to make things feel a certain way. Example, the movie starts with Harlow in the 1920s. I wanted that to feel like a old antique picture, not quite sepia, but not quite black and white. It was kind of like this detached feeling to the whole thing. And then when we opened the next act, boom, with the song, that was actually I'm sorry, I'll go over the place. That was worked with Corey Britz from Bush, did that song. So that was one of his. That was pretty cool to open that scene. But we went from that old dingy world of Harlow's to boom into present time, and it was like, we've got the girl, we were walking, we got the song, we got bright skies and saturated colors and things like that. It was a big gear shift there, and then when we go into the third act, into the haunt, we go into the really saturated colors with the purples and reds and blues and all that stuff. And as things get worse for the situation, it gets redder as we go.
I did notice it getting redder.
Did you get that?
Yeah. But yeah. I like, when I've seen some people when they try to do like the old time stuff, like set in a different era, either they don't get the costumes right, because I've seen a lot of stuff. Well, this is going to be the 1920s and 1930s, and you're looking at the clothes going, that doesn't look it. Or they do something to it, to the film to kind of to make it look old, and it just doesn't always work right. Yeah. Film grain is one I noticed some people really love.
Yeah.
Nothing against film grain. I do like it, but sometimes it kind of it's can be an overkill.
You've got to be very restrained for effects like that, and otherwise it will be too much in your face. You'll be a distraction. And with audio too, because I again, when I back in tech world, that was one of the one of a bunch of classes I taught through everywhere about just restraint. Like, I'm going back, and again, that's how long I've been doing this. When we started looking at early versions of Photoshop and things like that, we had drop shadows and things like. I mean, like now we kind of laugh about it, but that was the thing. And man, they were boom, 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 everything. And like it's like forever. It's like don't. No, and the just effects like that just get so much in the way of your shot or your message. So I try to keep things pretty lean, but if it serves the story, that's first, and then if it's it's not stepping on the story or the visuals and then the audio as the other thing. So
I do like when it comes to like the old stuff. One thing I think you can tell if it's really good at the old stuff is when they do the radio, way that sound that the guys would have when they would talk. It sound like hi, how you doing? Like so odd. That tells you that at least they're doing something. If they get that sound, it means they're doing something right with the old time audio, because the way that sound.
Yep. That because those things are so. Puppy wants to.
It's like give me attention. Forget what you're doing. Give me attention.
Snoozing. Now she's like here. Luna, say hello. Everybody's got to see.
Hello, Luna.
It's like, okay, I want to play.
Okay, cool it. Yeah, things like that are such, good, cool tools to have in your arsenal there to have, those effects like radio and stuff. I love that stuff, but again, not too much. But something that throws me off is shoes. I saw something, I can't remember what it was. It's been a week or so, but it was a period type thing. But it's like they were wearing almost current looking shoes. And it's like like a cowboy like ish thing.
Yeah,
but you didn't have your shoes didn't look good. I mean, it's like they should have been all beat up. And
yeah. That's just a simple little detail that can just throw you off. You go, hey, well, the top looks great, the pants looks great,
but the shiny shoes.
Especially like in that scene, if with Hollow, if you're like going to be in that, backward swap, if you came in and he looked like, he had, you figured there his shoes, his outfit would be kind of dirty and grungy.
Mm-hmm.
But if it looked like, he just went to J.C. Penney's and picked something off the rack, it'd be like, huh.
It's not going to sell it. I mean, it's going to have alley.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just and just lots of things because everything in the scene, it can be a picture or something, is in the scene. So you've got to kind of think of it like, okay, what is any of this going to factor into what we're seeing here? Whether it's like I'll say a picture on the wall or something like that. Does it factor, or does it just add to the ambience? So stuff like that. It's just something you just have to consider the stuff that is going into the scene. Again, like the costumes and whatever.
So that also, if you get a bit more accurate, that saves you by those people who literally watch these movies and search for all the little.
Oh yeah.
If one little mistake, and they will be on you, and all of a sudden, IMDb has about 20 or 30, complaints because they're going to go through and look for every single little error.
It's like, oh my god!
And by the way, I swear those people don't got a life if they got to sit there frame by frame and be like, okay, and frame number 34, scene, whatever. This is what they did wrong.
Yeah.
Yep, there'd be a ton of that. So, and there's again now with the opportunity to be, people can see the movie in so many ways and places, and you can focus on one scene or 10 frames or something. You can really just pick at it. So I don't know, just do as much we can. So
yeah. What would you say between the writing, directing, or anything going on set? What was the most challenging for you?
Keeping the pizza stocked. So everybody had to eat. A lot of it, it was all hard, but I loved all of it. In different ways, different parts were harder. The shoot was we were on about 18 days shooting, so that was a pretty long shoot because we had different locations and scheduling and stuff like that. But again, I've worked on this for almost 2 years too. So just 10 or 10 or 20 days roughly versus 2 years. I've had a lot more time to work on the other stuff. Because then, we've got from the business side with distribution, marketing, all that stuff. That's a different phase that I go into as a filmmaker. It's like, okay, you make the movie, and at the crazy place I am, from writing and everything, right into all the different phases of it, facets of it. So they're all kind of tough. I think to getting the story right, that was about 8 or 10 months to get that right. So that was pretty hard. A lot of hours into that. Rewrites, getting the story around the main story was such a big thing. So that was probably the hardest thing, because at that point it's like, okay, we're ready. And once you're ready to roll and you've got cast scheduled and everything, it's like you got to do it one way or not now. So that's put a lot of pressure on. And then once you call cut and you go into editing, then you've got another kind of level of that. Like, I can't go, well, yeah, you could, but go back and reshoot and do all that stuff. You want to try to avoid that or minimize. So you kind of put these different pressures on you. But I think the hardest thing was trying to get preparation done between writing and prep before you start do anything.
How do you determine your music budget? Is it an afterthought or pre-planned? Do you ever hire a composer and record your score with a live orchestra?
Great answer or question. We had a really great guy. His name's Carlos Crespo, and he's from Miami, and he is just amazing. I can't say enough about Carlos. He has been working into more movies. And I just got to know him, and we were chatting. I was starting on the movie and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, okay, when I get to the point of doing this, let's kind of bounce some ideas around to get the sound down. And it just really kind of came together, kind of a cheat answer there. But we just worked really good there. Yeah, I know some people in music, and Corey had just released his own record, and Corey is the bass player for Bush, and his friend Nick is the drummer. So during a lockdown, Corey just did a record. I mean, it's something to do because they weren't on tour or anything. So he released just a solo. I love this one song, The Violent Circus. And so I pinged him, was like, hey, can I use this? Because I'm doing this movie, and it kind of, I'm on have the scene that would just be perfect. I can even write the scene for it. And so we kind of went back and forth, and there's some, legalities and things because of who he is and everything. But we put it together, and I love it. Love the song, love what it added to the movie, and it changed the complexion in the movie. And so that's really added to that. As far as sound design, Carlos and I together kind of worked on that, because we want to have the sound again, have kind of a different feel to it. You can, again, you have to be restrained for your sound. And again, we have a lot of, of that stuff. I mean, you can go, I'll hear something, or I want to do something. And my thing is with all this, if I love something, I'm scared of it, because at that point it's like, okay, I'm not going to love it so much right yet, because I want to watch it or look at it again or hear it again tomorrow. And if I still love it, Okay, we'll move on. And about half the time, it's like, I don't know, that yesterday that was great, but it ain't quite working today. So that just works with me. But yeah, the music and everything, I kind of go back and get hear it again and look at the context in a different way.
Liz, how do you determine your music budget?
Yeah, well, pizza. You like pizza?
Hey, that works. That works.
That. Yeah, that's my cousin. He does music himself. That's why he's curious about that. So,
yeah, well, it's going to vary. It depends on the budget overall you have to work with, and how much you can really put into really everything in the project. So music is an important thing, and I know that a lot of big movies, bigger movies and little movies and things will kind of view music as an afterthought. And I try to not think of that like, okay, we're going to think about the budget for the actors, and we're talking about location, we're talking about this and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, we have music. Like, it's got to be a little bit of everything. I mean, it's got to be. Well, we've been in a bunch of film festivals. We've actually had just over 100 laurels for wins, selections, things like that. And Carlos got, I can't remember right off, but he got about half a dozen or so wins for his sound and composition. So he's a good dude. And it's again, if we're thinking about budgets, it would kind of depend on the project. It's like how much, because there's stuff that I've worked on that wouldn't really need a lot of sound. Sometimes some films, okay, we'll talk about Blair Witch. I mean, there's a little bit of ambient sound, but it really didn't need a lot of sound. So it kind of depends on what you're doing, and that can still. I mean, it was cheap. It didn't take any budget or anything, but it didn't need the complexity as like some scores that really want like a film theme and all that stuff.
I think music can also help set a scene.
Mm-hmm.
You can even do a misdirect with the sound. Like if you think you're gonna get a jump scare, start to build up with it, and then stop, and then right when they come down, and then do the jump scare.
Yep.
Because I took a class in high school, and they were like using music to teach English, and they tell us about how we can set up a scene, do the mood. But yeah, even sound effects. I mean, look at Psycho. That that.
Yep. It's such an iconic thing.
Yeah. It's like I kind of want to watch Psycho again now. It's been a while.
I'm probably gonna watch it after we're done.
You ask so many people, you just do that sound effect, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I know that movie. Oh, I've seen that movie."
Trivia. Who knows the what that's called?
The what?
The sound for that. The screaming violins by Herman.
You think even Godzilla's roar was part of an instrument?
I'm sorry.
So. I think Godzilla's roar, I think, was part of an instrument or something they just messed with.
Yeah.
But yeah, sound and music. Yeah, you kind of need that. It can help set the scene, set the mood.
It is, and it's like it's such an important element. Having the right, like, and Harlow's. I'll go back. There's when we go into like the last act, where the group shows up to the haunt event that they go to. It's really kind of there. Well, actually, we did a little montage for another local band there, but when the characters actually went into the haunt, and you had like the attendant and that kind of thing, it's got kind of this if I want to use a better word for it, like cheesy feel, which it should, because that's the type of place they were going to. This low budget haunt off the bricks. Where is this place? And it's low budget type thing, and that sound. It was kind of this grand, but it's kind of tiny at the same time. It's like, it should be creepy, but it's not, but then it is, but why is it? It's kind of got this duality thing going on. So yeah, so it's a lot of stuff going on there. And Carlos, again, he did so good because and we kind of bounced things around. It's like, because it wasn't like a real steady sound through the whole movie. It's got that flow to it, and really any movie should have a flow or something. It's not everything's always going to be loud, not always going to be quiet, not going to be bright or dark. And same with the sound, it needs to be here and there. I was on a show it's about a year and a half or years ago. A couple of years ago, on Joe's the Indies Escape. I was a guest with Spider One, and he was talking about sound in his films, and that was really a good. We bounced a few questions around, and he pointed something out to me that I really kind of I knew, but he kind of affirmed is the sound is such an important thing, especially in horror, but it can be also important to be absent, to be quiet, be just dead quiet, but at the right time. So the absence of sound can be as powerful as no sound at the right second or the beat or whatever, and then amplified sound can be more on top of all that. So again, it's kind of that
like you get those scenes in movies where they're walking through the woods and they say there's no sound.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a bad idea to play music then.
Mm-hmm.
Just literally have that whole thing, and then you hear that no sound. No one's going to notice it really at first until you hear them say, "Wait a minute, where's all the animals?"
Yeah. Think Pee-wee.
Saying I worked my way up doing free projects. Thankfully, he doesn't have to do that anymore. You should maybe make it pre-planned and pay your composer fairly. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, I'll say that with really anything in the production. I mean, it's like it should be part of the budget. It's going to be one thing or another,
whether special effects or whatever. Yeah.
It's an element, and again, as the overall thing, it's an important. It's all important, mm-hmm. and that's importantly. Heard this so many times that this is more important than that or that. No, the whole thing is important. Yeah. So you just have to figure out how to make it. So mm-hmm. Yeah. So and that's where you kind of look from the top of the umbrella of like, okay, now I've got all these departments that need to be factored in, and sound being one thing. So so they're all important.
Also, one of the other things, and I like about they do in some movies, is the setting. The setting can set the mood. I just watched Blood and Honey. I don't know if you've seen the first Blood and Honey yet.
I haven't seen it yet. Isn't that
well, there's a shot of the woods. There's those super tall, skinny trees that just halfway up, it's when all the leaves grow. Yeah. And it's just an entire words of it. And I saw that in the movie. I'm going, oh my God, that's perfect. because it looks eerie.
Yeah.
Doing something at a haunt, because haunts, some of these haunts, if you go on YouTube, you can see some of these videos of haunts. Some of them are, pretty out there. I mean, I've seen people like literally dedicate themselves year rounds. Okay, then again, you get the guys who turn the garage into a haunt,
Right.
and the wives get upset at them. I've seen that before. Where the guy's like, around Halloween, oh, look what I just did, and his wife's just in the background.
Yeah, like, oh God, here we go.
But yeah, those haunts, we have one here called Mad Hatter. I've never been to. I need to. But yeah, they always looked cool to me.
Yeah, the haunt thing is such a cool culture, really. I mean, I've gotten closer to a lot of that around here for a while, but like a friend of mine, Courtney, did the costumes for Harlow, and he has a company. Oh, he's gonna hate me because I always screw it up. Studio October 20 30 whatever, and but he just makes costumes for haunts and now movies and stuff like that. And there is a big con, I guess you call it. It's in Chicago or someplace, and it's like a trade show for all that.
Ooh.
It's like, it looks amazing. I've not been there. I'd like to go, but it's like, where you see all the haunt vendors go and buy, their stuff and, their masks and all that stuff. And it looks unbelievable seeing the stuff that they have, like, the monsters and all, 20-foot tall, and is really amazing stuff. So, but like, if you see our, this where we shot at Sir Henry's, hop on their site. I mean, it's amazing how cool this place is. And I've been out there, a bunch of times, and it's just bizarre how much work that goes into this. And I know some of these haunts are just amazing, because I live right down the road from Universal. I went to HAN for years, and it used to be so good, and now it's kind of, it's fun, but it's not scary. I mean, it's the houses and things are fun, but they're kind of this, the same. It's the kind of same thing. It's like, and it's actually, if you watch Harlow, there's a little bit of a snicker at the story, because it's like, the reason our crew ends up going to this other haunt is because they didn't want to go to the brand name haunt and sit and 2-hour haunt or waits and things like that.
Oh yeah, we're not talking about, it's about a
40-minute,
45-minute, was it 45-minute drive?
Yeah,
and they're listing off all the stuff.
Yeah, and $10 for a beer, and it's
I was kind of thinking, I'm like, yep, Universal, when they were saying that.
Or we can go to this other place for $666. It's like, it's good,
good price, short line, no one will know about it.
Let's go over here, do this. But
well, there've been a number of horror movies that now they film where they take place at these haunts, which is pretty cool to see them. I think it actually helps the haunts too, because when they learn, oh wait a minute, that's a real haunt in that movie.
Yeah,
then it would drive business that way, because people are going to want to check out where the movie was.
Well, I got to know some of the people up at the Hell House up in PA. And you seen those movies?
I've seen the first one.
LLC, yeah.
Seeing the first one, pretty creepy movie, by the way.
Yeah,
the third one's good. They're all good. Yeah,
they're all good. Yeah, they're really doing a great job there, and those have been good. What's the Houses of October?
The house that October built. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't. The second one to me wasn't as good as the first one, though.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. The But they really did such a good job with the creep factor of all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Hell House movies, I just love them. And they're all, they're kind of the same, but they're, well, not the same, but same direction. But they have their own little life in a way, and I just love how they pulled that out.
Yeah.
And with your film, like, I am interested in seeing more with it. Like, what happened after don't want to give anything too much away, but after the witch and stuff and the time that period, I would like to see more what happened, maybe more about her and the husband and what happened.
Yeah.
Kind of a little curious, not just what happened afterwards, but like, in that time frame, maybe before, I'd be interested in seeing what went down. I think that'd be interesting to see.
I will say, without giving too much away, and the storyline that's come together this point, it's very dense as far as the storyline. It's a lot more revolves around Harlow and his past, and it's horrifically emotional, and it's stuff that I haven't seen in anything. And it's not like, wow, this is the goriest thing you've ever seen. It's it's not going to be like another competitor for like Terrifier or anything. It's not. That's not the story. It's like, but it's based, again. I'm really steeped in reality, if you're going to call it reality. But everything in the story, I've been researching a lot, and it's based in real stuff. And so when you see something has, whether it's and not necessarily a kill, but it's an event or a thing that happens. It's based in real stuff over a real time point. I'm trying to be.
You want to be. No, you don't want to give. Yeah, you don't want to give too much away, but just it's like you're like waving like the little cookie in front of people like this.
Yeah. It's gonna be like, what? It's the people, and again, Amy's been working with me on it. I'll send her stuff, and we kind of bounce ideas and forth. It's been like, again, why are you making it? How would you come up with this? It's like, because it comes from a real place or a real thing that happened, or the time, the way things happen at a certain time, that was to base in culture or whatever. So so there's a lot of creepy stuff. I mean, you don't have to make a lot of stuff up.
Oh no,
you can find it and just document it.
Oh yeah. Well, where I live up in the hills in Central Washington, we have it's called the tree people, tall people, whatever. Never seen them. They live way up there, but I guess they're really kind of skitty. And the story I've always heard is basically, don't go up the hills because they're gonna make you running out of the hills with your pants wet.
Yeah.
Like people talk about going camping out there, and all of a sudden somebody's hitting the tents. Someone's messing with the cars. It's these look like the tree people or something like that. Stick people is what they call them. They're the people who decided to stay away from society.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big one here. And every time I hear about it, I'm just like, oh hell yeah! Don't never ask me to go to the hills.
Let's see. I'm from West Virginia, and originally my family, like, tells like maybe, I don't know, probably 8 or 9, from kind of the country of Boone County. So yeah, there's a lot of creepy stuff come out of there. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I grew up in Virginia, and I remember hearing about the Pembroke Witch.
Yeah.
Although one of the Lake Pimmick, whatever, and then she was tried and shit, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, she traveled around in an egg, and then here, oh, she died. Her house caught on fire, and she kicked all her family out and walked back into it. It's like, but yeah, there's some generally real life stuff out there. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, you hear this in the movie, but this is real life. It's like, I'd rather watch the movie than hear about this.
Yeah.
Sounds like Florida's got quite a few of them that are kind of like it's not just alligators and snakes.
No,
there's some interesting stuff. Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff in Florida, and yeah, just a lot of creepy stuff. Some stuff that I researched a lot and found that kind of grabbed me, that touched a little tiny bit on Harlow's. And I don't know if it's probably going to manifest a bit of that going forward, but is the crap coming out of the islands. Like, did you see the serpent and rainbow?
in the rainbow. Yeah,
A little bit of it.
I love that whole vibe for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
it sounds like if you're like looking for ideas, it sounds like Florida would be a place to go and look for different ideas. It's like, ooh.
Because there's a lot of that. You don't have to look very far to look around and find, this kind of stuff was happening in this time or this place, or this, these people were traveling these little back roads and stuff like that, or kind of staying in the dark, literally, moving from here and there and all that stuff. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And then you see a movie like that or something. You've got like, what is voodoo? What is all this magical, mystical stuff? How can that all factor together?
Oh yeah. I got a book about the histories of zombies and games and movies, and that's the first chapter is on. Oh, by the way, there's a thing called voodoo, and it talks briefly on the history of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the what do they call them? Not the lores? Is that how it is called? I think it is LOA. How we say it? It's what they would call
it. The lore, or whatever you're talking about. Like lore. Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
I think like what the ideas of zombies came from, sort of like, was it would like seem like they were dead and they would come back to life, like they wouldn't really.
Well, they would what it talks about is they would drug them.
Yeah,
they would drug them,
and they'd be slaves. Like this one guy was like, they told his family he's dead, and then they took him away, and he just spent so many years just working in a field.
Yeah, they kind of do that kind of stuff, or that's kind of the, and it's, if you were, I guess, kind of controlling maybe part of the society that you're working with. It's like, you could scare people, if your family person, member or somebody is taken away, and then if whatever the power of be is, can sell that. Okay, this is going to happen to you if you do this or that, where they can control and remove
and all these stuff that's down there in Florida, the different stories you have a chance, and the legends that you have to tap into. Would you ever tap into more to do like another film, not another Hollow one, but like something separate, by tapping into that?
Kind of, yeah. I love that stuff because I think it's a whole kind of a whole different type of story in a way. It's got a different energy to it, and I think it's got it's kind of a focus to I don't want to say just a story, but like a storyline maybe. But there's a lot to explore right there.
Yeah, I think it would definitely draw people in because they'd be like, "What's this?" And then once they look it up, they'd be like, "Oh."
Well, and stuff, and I was shift to writer, when I look at movies or stories or whatever, I look for stuff that you haven't or I haven't seen done well over and over. Murder. Oh no! Don't mind any of that. No, nothing at all.
That's funny.
Secret. So now I lost my mind.
Sorry.
Wait, I didn't lost my mind. But now what it actually is, that's the next story I'm working on. That's the blue cards. Have you ever seen anybody done that?
Yeah, I've seen that something like that before.
Yeah, so what we can do is we can just take a screenshot and zoom in. No,
pull those in. But yeah, what I was saying, when you kind of see the same, like, I was a big fan and everything, but like The Walking Dead. I mean, it's great, but it's kind of like, it's you see it 100,000 times. It's like, it kind of dilutes the impact at some point, and even the genre. So, if we go back to like Night, I mean, that just started the whole thing. And it's like, where do you go from there? Well, we saw, and some are great, and some haven't necessarily be, or whatever. What you're I don't, one's anything's better or worse, but it kind of has a feel, or again that DNA thing. But if I love to see like a totally different thing, and I don't know what the answer is, but I'm sure there's somebody has got a really cool story just laying there.
Oh God. I did watch one. It's what was the name? I forget what the name of the movie, but it's about these kids that eat these infected chicken nuggets, and they turn into zombies. And some kids and adults are immune because if they're gone through or going through puberty, they're safe.
What?
God, what was the name of that movie? I watched it. Oh,
I see. I love something like that.
I know it's not Poultrygeist, but what are you?
God, it's just. I remember watching it. And they're like, "How are these kids not getting sick?" And they turn to the one girl because she comes out of the bathroom like, "Are you going through?" The one guy blatant because he goes, "I had a nail drove into my head, so I say things even if that are inappropriate." So he goes blatant. So, are you going through your period right now? God, I can't remember the name of it. But no, I think with zombies I think that we got to a period where they were overdoing it too much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to blame Walking Dead because I think it started before Walking Dead, and just Walking Dead made it worse. And they all were the same. Okay, the dead has come back, took it over the world. What do we got to do to survive? I've seen this already. It's called Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead.
Yeah.
There's another movie called I Am Legend. And
we got next week. I forget the exact date, if it's April 5th or 6th, but the Soska twins are coming out with Festival of the Dead. It's going to be on Tubi.
But I do love zombie movies, but I've seen it so many times, the same thing. I like the ones where we don't see them taking over the world because, again, I've seen them taking over the world way too many times now.
Yeah, it's kind of, you're kind of, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have the answer because I don't know as a writer, I don't know where to go with this. That's why I was so stoked with like Serpent. It was something different. And I loved Busan. I mean, it was something.
Oh, different. Love Busan. Oh, it's the movie I was talking about with the chicken nuggets is Cooties.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Cooties. Okay.
Yeah, they made a sequel to Busan.
Yeah.
Peninsula gets bashed.
Yeah.
My thing is, don't watch it. Has a Busan sequel.
Okay.
Watch it has its own because if you compare it to Busan, you're not gonna like it.
Oh, okay. Now,
Because the first time I watched it, I hated it, but I thought, well, you know what, let me go watch this a second time. This is why you sometimes watch a movie more than once.
mm-hmm.
So I went back and watched it a second time, has a standalone movie, and liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
well, it's just like Halloween 3. It has nothing to do with Michael Myers, but it's not a bad movie as itself. But if you're thinking Michael Myers, no, you're not gonna.
So that's another reason to watch a movie more than once. Hell, I'm sure you guys have watched the movie like years ago, and you've been like, I hate this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Come back and like, oh, I love this, and vice versa. Oh, I love this movie, and what was I thinking?
Yep, it's the same, and I love Halloween 3. I loved it back then,
mm-hmm.
and but it's your change or your tastes are going to change after a while, I think too. I mean, you're going to, especially with movies, you're going to.
I think she knocked something over in the background.
Yeah, let's see what happened. Luna from Halloween.
Ooh,
And that's fancy. You can't just blow it out. This is from Halloween horror.
Okay. And she's like, "Pay attention to me."
Yeah. Now, but that's I got to watch that movie now because I want to see something different. And again, I love zombie stuff.
Also, if you like Fast and Furious,
mm-hmm.
they go Fast and Furious in a couple scenes.
Oh yeah,
Peninsula.
That'd be interesting.
But yeah, it's like I said. My advice for that movie, it's one of those ones. Just don't watch it if you can link it to it.
Yeah.
But like yours, like I can see myself watching it again to look for little things.
Yeah.
Because that's always fun. That's when you see like the little things you didn't see there in the first time.
Yeah. And that's it's like I think of movies. I'll go back to like even Psycho or movies like that, or the Hammer movies or things. You can it's almost like you can play a game to watching, the movies, and not literally saying, okay, checking out, or checking off the list of things that you like. The ashtray on Creep show, the marble ashtray. You know what I'm talking about? On Creep Show. I'm sorry, my speech is all wacky.
Okay, and Creep Show. I'm trying to figure out what about Creep Show.
Remember, did you ever seen about the if you haven't seen it, here you go. Here's one.
Are you talking about the Indian?
No, the first one, where the cake, the
birthday cake, the happy birthday.
She whacks him with the ash. It shows up in all the segments.
Oh,
okay.
There you go. Yep.
So it's been years. It's been years since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, I love that movie. Oh, I was so aped about that movie. I was just. Nuts.
I haven't seen the third one, and I'm usually get told when I ask about. When I go, well, maybe I should watch it. I get told, don't.
You're not missing much. I don't even remember it. That's how I was like, nah. The show on Shudder is way better than the third one.
Yeah. I love those movies or those shows from Romero. Night Tales of the Dark Side and all that. I love that show when it was on.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
You know, there's a foundation or whatever that was made in his honor.
Yeah.
I just recently learned about that.
Yeah. A good friend of mine, actually, I don't know if he either doesn't. He has something to do with it. His name's Matt Blasey, and I know Matt through the Blair Witch people, and he's like their historian, and he has a great. If you want. Here, I'll plug his book. Matt, you owe me. This movie or this book about everything about the movie. I mean, it's got stuff. I mean, pictures. It's amazing. It's every detail. If you can grab it for a second, it's on Amazon and all. Is the best book about. I mean, the making of about any moving. It was just amazing. I love Matt's book, and it has a ton of stuff in there. But Matt is really tied into the people in that area because he lives up there in Maryland, I think. And he's right in that area. So he's gotten really involved with Pittsburgh scene and all that. So yeah, so he's involved with that. But yeah,
I'm trying to get my charger in. My battery's about to die. It's like
one of the things I like about indie movies right now. I think I've been having more fun watching them. Okay, I did have a ton of fun watching Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire.
Yeah,
but I think I've had more fun and enjoying watching them. And you do kind of think sometimes he's something new. I mean, other than not another remake or reboot. Beetlejuice, Ghostbusters, Last Train to New York, aka Train to Busan remake.
Yeah,
well, something kind of new.
You know what I love about indies, and some people will complain and gripe about this stuff and everything. I think it's the best thing in the world. Get out and shoot. I don't care if this is all you have to make a movie. Make a movie. Go out. You might, just go with it. It's like because and again, I've talked with a lot of people and what was the with any escape? It was called the Brigade. Before I had a show on there called the Drone Cab, where I taught people how to use small cameras, drones, things like that. So there's always this feeling or this sentiment or whatever. It's like, I don't have a budget to do this, or I can't do that. And I want to get to this. You can make a frigging movie, sound and everything. It's not going to be perfect, and don't kid yourself. But you can go out in the morning and make a movie, a 10-minute movie with your frigging phone. I don't hear it. So
there used to be an advertisement for one of the phones. I forget which one that would advertise that you could do that.
It's probably Apple because they do a lot of that. And you don't need these real. I mean, the better gear, of course, everything can elevate you. But I know a lot of people that have plenty gear and they don't know what they're doing. So it doesn't matter. It's not like you're not going to, I can take a $1,000 camera and go, somebody that's got a RE for 30 grand, and it's like, but doesn't know what they're doing. And it's like, the gear isn't going to make you everything. I mean, it can, things, it can level things up or down, but I've seen things shot plenty on high air end gear and stuff. And it's like, what? Why did you spend all that and you just didn't get the result? And it's you can take it's always the thing. We think we need to have the best, newest thing. Oh well, a new camera XYZ-3. I need that one. Just came out, and it's like, you know what? The what are you shooting? Well, I've got the new 12 MP. Yeah, well, where are you going to use it for? I mean, literally, why are you shooting for that? Well, because I need it. Well, yeah, but for what? Are you scaling it down? Or oh no, really? And then you get down to it, it's like, well, I just bought it because it's the thing. Like, well, you could shoot that in a 4K, and because you're going to throw it in on streaming or something at under 1,000. I mean, whatever. You think about the whole process. And so, kind of get back to the point is, don't let that be, as a filmmaker, don't let it be a dilemma or a limiter. I mean, if you have a story, and there's so many people out there have great friggin' stories and stuff to tell. I mean, just get out there and do it, man. And I'll be the first one to say, cheerleader. It's like, just don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry if you're not going to have great sound, or you're not going to have the best sound or story or anything. Just dive into it and tell your story, and then start on the next one, and it'll get better and better. And we're all, unless we've all got, Spielberg in the back of our name, what can you say? It's like we're nobody's perfect. And so, just go in and tell your story. But we can now, again, when I was a kid back in one of these old stories, my first camera was an old, I mean, old, this is a ancient, 8 Super 8 thing that had, relax.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, I had to. It was film and take it to like the department store, and like, fill out the thing where I have to send it out to get, like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes of footage, and it looked like 2 weeks. I would get the thing. Okay, you can pick it up on Thursday, and all that. And I had the. That's what we had to do to get some crappy footage. But now it's like from your phone, or from I've got cameras all over my thing. Something like this. I mean,
I generally sometimes use one of these.
Yeah.
You can take pictures, or it's got a setting for videos. I just got to work on lighting, because I'm terrible at lighting.
Lighting is an art, and I always
the only thing I really remember is they would tell you, don't put the light behind the subject. Yeah, it's got to be behind the camera.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question for you, because I do a little bit of writing, haven't done it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody hits a brick wall when they're writing, what would be your advice to them to help them get past that brick wall?
The first thing I would say, what happens to me constantly, I stop. I will. You have to. Again, this is all just coming from me, so I don't have the best answer, or maybe the best answer. I don't know. Is to not force it, because at that point, it's just you're going to be. It's not going to be or genuine. It's going to be forced. Yeah, you can, especially for like dialogue, you can find the word to put in someone's mouth, but it's not going to be natural, or at least to me, it's forced. What I will do is, if you need some inspiration. A lot of times I will just look at something totally crazy. Like, somebody will think, okay, if you're writing this horror thing, we're doing this, a dream sequence. It's got all these things going on. There's sounds and voices and all this stuff. How am I going to write that? What's going on? And and you'll think, okay, and you hit the wall, and it's like, okay, I need to maybe look at some other horror movies. How I've seen this. The last thing I would do, I'd watch something like Frasier, or Cheers, or Andy Griffith. I mean, something like really weird. It has a strange effect like opening your mind, or at least again to me, it takes my imagination away from what I'm trying to work on, but in a different context. Now think of something like Mayberry, or the Cheers bar, or something like that. Just a lot of this banner going back and forth, blah 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 blah. But it kind of lights these different sparks in your mind, and it's like, okay, you're thinking about this banner, and a lot of times I might go sleep on it, and the next day I'll wake up, or I might even wake up and scribble down some notes or something, but then it's like, wait, that kind of connects with this. Okay, now that kind of starts making sense for your story. Has nothing to do with it, but it gets your mind thinking, but thinking in a different way, if that makes any sense. But not in a different place, but in a different way. Does it make any sense? It will at least. It's like you might want to have a pizza, but do you want cheese, or do you want something loaded up? But yeah, you want pizza, but it's like one's just strong, different enough to get you on track, if that makes any sense.
Never thought about that.
But it's crazy stuff. And I'll do that. Like if I get because I'm working on a new story now. It's also working on Harlow too, but I've got other stuff in the pipeline. And this other story is really got a lot going on, and it's kind of a hard story, and so it's something that would be hard to convey, and if it sees the light of day, it will be very difficult to convey as a story, I think, but the viewers will get at things in quite a different way that you're used to seeing. So that's the kind of thing works for me when I'm writing. I'm trying to think of the whole realm. Like, what does this room look like? Is it dark? Is it light? The character, what's he wearing? Is it a t-shirt or a jacket? You think all these details that kind of create this reality for what this character or characters is going through, and it kind of helps me get away from just writing dialogue. And I know that your first inclination is to writing the dialogue or writing the scene, but like, what does that mean? And then you start thinking again that world making thing. So
let's just see if there's any other questions there. Nope, people just talking. Yeah, if anyone else has any questions, let's see. We're up to 2 hours and 13 minutes. It's flown by today. I guess any other last things you want to tell us, maybe, or you can stick around more. It's up to you. Or if you want a good place to end it, or it's.
I'm probably about to take somebody out.
Yeah, that could be another reason why she wanted your attention too. I have to use the bathroom.
Oh, you do have someone's asking, what do you think about the production of Haunting of Hill House?
I like it. Feel is really a big thing for me, and I think they did really good with that. Yeah, I thought they did a good job.
Let's see. Saying great interview, and was here from the beginning. So, or from the start of the interview. Yep. So, yeah, it's been a good time. Very informative. Learned a lot of cool stuff, and we'll definitely stay in touch, and anything that's coming out, we'll share it out and promote it more. And so.
Well, sounds. I'm sorry if I haven't bored you guys together.
No,
I've had a lot of.
Oh no, it was great. So.
I've been watching, or you're looking at your Death Wish banner, and it's like I've just been like killing coffee.
That's see, I used to not like coffee.
Yeah,
but my dad died in 2011, so he just had his coffee thing, and then I started drinking coffee in honor of him. And then one day, randomly, Death Wish coffee, and just went. There
you go.
I'm hooked. I'm so hooked. I got a flag for them.
Oh, well, here's a little story. And I think Steve and I had talked a little bit about this, and this will explain a little bit about myself. I should have said this before. In my wacky speech, I had a stroke last year. So that's I am just getting my speech back. Wacky thing. I mean, it's like I was, if you want to say normal, and last July, I just kind of didn't feel right. You feel like you just want to sit down. It's like, my energy, I'm just down and everything. Yeah, well, everything, I had a stroke. The doctors couldn't really find an answer why or anything, but when you have one, they can pretty much show you, you had a stroke. So I've been in therapy and all that stuff to get my speech back and all that. So if it's been like wacky, there you go.
And here's the thing: I have a speech impediment, and I had to do speech therapy, and I black out things I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
The horrible. I know I took speech therapy. I completely blacked it out, so it must have been a miserable experience.
Oh, I've got an awesome therapist, fortunately, but just finding those words and what the irony, right? I'm a writer, and so it's been hard to just to at first I couldn't tell you what an alphabet was. I knew what there were symbols and things, right, to numbers and all that, and then when you start relearning all this stuff, and I will say this, it is put a totally different complexion on me as a writer and a filmmaker. Because going forward with whatever projects that I'm planning forward, have got a different timber, but it's not gonna be like wildly totally different or anything, but I see things very clearly in a different way. And it's anybody that's had to go through with this or I'm glad you're coming back better too. It's amazing when you find you are robbed of an ability that you take for granted. Man, there's nothing scarier that I can think of to speak to when somebody asks your phone number. I mean, it's like in your mind, you're thinking, what the hell? I know I'm trying to say this. I'm trying to tell you, and using your communication like that. So it's a valuable thing, and once you are confronted with it, it changes you. And so I'll go back to like I was talking about using your phone. I mean, it's like there's nothing can stop you right now, right? So if you especially have a stroke or anything with a therapy or anything to improve your condition, nothing can stop you. If you want to make a movie, if you want to write a story, if you want to make a music, just do it, man. I mean, we can do all this stuff, and as long as we're alive and above ground, let's have fun and scary movies and stuff. But
Mhm.
otherwise, that's what it's all about. And I'm personally grateful for everybody that supported Harlow's, and I put a lot of work into that, and not just me, but the whole team. And now to see the love that it's getting is amazing. And because I had the stroke right after or right before we were getting ready to release the movie, I was like, what do I do? I mean, what do you do at this point? Now, I've had a fantastic distributor, Bayview Entertainment. Peter there is just, just fantastic guy. I mean, just really, back me up. And, because at that point you're thinking like, okay, am I ever going to be able to speak again? Or is this everything I worked for and all that is like, what do we do now? And I had some great people, Kelly, my other half, my mom, Joe. I mean, I had some really, really, really great people, and so many people I can't thank enough for support me and the project, but then the people don't even know that are supporting it. So it's like it's magic. So I'm just happy to be here. So sorry, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Well,
And we're glad you're doing better and
Yeah.
able to continue what you're doing, of course.
Well, I'll babble more next time.
All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to that for sure.
like I
So,
said, I'm definitely going to rewatch that Hollow's Haunt. And
yeah, I'll
give
have
it
to
a
watch
second
again
watch.
too. And
Complete with that ending that just throws me off. From the scream into that little like thing, so I can just sit there again and go,
oh yeah, the end. Yeah,
literally, like I hit stop. Let me rewind a little bit. What just happened?
oh gosh. He said that his kids supported him through the recovery. Wife wanted a divorce. Laugh out loud. That's funny.
Yeah,
They said he's definitely watching Harlow's Haunt.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep, it is on Tubi and Vudu and all the pretty much all the streaming services there. So
there's only about it. Like I said, there's only about a few thousand or so of them. So
yeah.
Alrighty then. Yeah, I got to work tomorrow, so.
Tomorrow's Easter, and
it's Easter, so have a good Easter, and everybody else.
Yeah, as soon as I get done here, I have to watch an Easter-related horror movie to review it for Easter, because I started this whole thing where this character on YouTube of a guy who's watched so many bad movies, his mind has fractured, and he got these different like personas, and one of them is Echo Bunny. So I got to do the yearly Echo Bunny thing, which means I got to go watch a bad Easter horror movie.
Enjoy that.
There you go.
All right. It was a good time. I'm glad you were able to join us, and we'll see you again sometime in the future there.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for having me, and we'll hopefully catch up again.
Yep, for sure.
And thank you for all your support. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right.
Have a good night.
Take it.